the effort and learn how to close the loops. Hi, this is Shalini, your coach, your happiness, success, and X Factor coach. Sometimes, even the little ones teach us big lessons and help us understand our mistakes, and then we correct ourselves for a better life. I hadn't spent time on the beach for a very long time, so I decided to go to the Larvoto beach one of the evenings, and as I call it, it's my home ground, a beautiful beach in Monaco. The Mediterranean Sea in the front and all the buildings in the back, and it gives me great peace to just be there and soak in my surroundings. As I say, tranquille. The sunset is a dream and my favorite time on the beach. It was about 7 in the evening and there was very few people around. Some 12-year-old children were playing. They were playing volleyball, and I wasn't paying much attention to them. As I was on an intense client call, I was walking back and forth with a poker face and talking. Suddenly, my eyes fell on a small child who had come with all those children who were playing. But when other children were playing, he wasn't. I don't know what came over me. Maybe the lost look on his face. My heart went out to him. I went and sat close to him, yet not so close. For a while, both of us kept looking at the setting sun with our silent eyes. First, I thought he was sad about something. I took initiative and asked the boy, "Why aren't you playing with your friends?" He looked straight into my eyes with an incisiveness in his tone, and he replied, "Do you want to play with them? Go play with them, those fools." I smiled a bit and replied, "Oh, I thought they're your friends." He turned around, laughed, and continued, "They're not anybody's friends. They tease me because I can't tie my shoelaces, and they've opened. They won't help me, and therefore, I'm not playing." For a second, I was going to laugh out loud. Maybe after a long while, I'd heard such an innocent, straightforward, and honest answer. Nick of time, I stopped myself. I got a quick glimpse of his friends who were playing wearing shoes, and then said to him, "You can play without shoes. This is the sand. What is the need to wear shoes here?" That child once again looked at me, scanned me up and down, looked back at the setting sun, smirked, and replied, "Not only them, but my little sister, my language teacher. They also scorn me, saying that I can never tie my shoelaces. Do you know I'm 11 years and 7 months old now?" I smiled. As at that age, we think that not being able to tie shoelaces is such a big thing. I looked at him and said, "Maybe I could help you. And you know what? I'll tell you a secret. I couldn't tie my shoelaces properly till 17 years of my life." I thought maybe a little lie would relax him a bit. Now I could see him surprised because there was someone who couldn't tie her shoelaces for 17 years. So I continued, "As a matter of fact, I can tie my shoelaces well now, and I have also taught my son how to do it. I can teach you if you want." It's very easy. There was a little happiness on his face for a moment. Perhaps he was thinking he would be able to play with his friends, or maybe that no one will laugh at him anymore, no one will bother him again. He immediately stood up and ran to pick up his shoes. He brought his shoes so swiftly, like someone has injected adrenaline in him. I can never forget those orange sports shoes with black soles and a white colored cartoon character printed on them. He came close to me and sat down and immediately put his toes in his shoes and put them in front of me, sat back relaxed, so he would too. I was determined to teach him and end his heartache. As I started with his left foot and put my thumbs inside the edges of the rear of his shoes and pulled the shoe upwards, a little hard so that his foot would settle down in the shoe. And I looked at him and said, "Now watch very carefully. And if you can't learn properly, even in a couple of times, then I will teach you till you learn properly how to tie your shoelaces." Saying nothing, he lifted his neck and looked into my eyes and nodded. I could see the devotion, dedication, and a do-or-die attitude in his eyes. I looked at his shoes and took both the ends of shoelaces in my hands and tightly pulled them upwards and told him, "Look, These two are two ends of the same ribbon. Now, first of all, bring any of these ends over the other and lace up simultaneously so that the shoe gets as tight as you want. This is the first task, and it's also the most important, because if this doesn't happen properly, then even after the tying the laces, the shoe will remain wobbly, right? Then I said, now we have to make a loop each of these and tie them together with a knot. Remember, these are the two different ends of the same shoelace, two parts of it. Be cautious. They have to be crossed, not bisected. I don't know how those words came to me suddenly. It was an aha moment. It was not about the laces anymore. My mind had a whole different agenda. I had learned something amazing from the kid. I realized that's exactly what my client needed to do to set his mind free. He needed to close all that ends that he had held open for a very long time and never looked back to see if they were closed. When that child tied the second shoelace in just one effort, I understood what those open loops were in my client's life. The next day, the transformation had begun. Phone calls were made to all those people with whom he had loops open. He decided to apologize to those he felt needed to. He forgave those who deserved to be forgiven. He scolded those who were to be rebuked. And the people whom he had not told for a long time that he loves them were in for a treat. Sometimes you try to solve a small problem and it gives you direction. Now, how simple can that be to solve bigger ones? Because it's only our mind that believes it to be a big problem. That sunset led to a beautiful sunrise. Next morning, I was happy, my client was happy, and so was Frederick. Frederick, because now he doesn't sit alone and he plays volleyball because he knows how to tie his shoelaces. To live a guilt-free, content life, it is important to clear all your dues and close all ends in all relationships. So you need to do the same thing that my client did that day. Call all the people with whom you have left your loops open, and you'll see how peaceful you become in life after that day. Thank you all for listening to one of the stories of my life that taught me a great deal. If you have a similar story that you would like to share, then please comment below. I'll see you soon with one more story that made me what I am today, because this is what Shalini says.